Hi, I'm Paul from smartfinanceguy.com. You'll see there and below there are links to the website. If you click on the link below, it'll take you straight through, and if you subscribe to the website, I'll send you through a budget action guide, just to give you some hints and tips of things that you could do today to improve your budgeting. Okay, enough of the marketing stuff out of the way. This video today, we're going to talk through some of the basic calculations that you can do within spreadsheet tools like Excel and OpenOffice.org calculator that can help you with your budgeting, help to automate it, help to make things much quicker for you as you're going through the budgeting process. We're going to do some adding and removing of lines. We're going to do some adding and subtracting of numbers from each other. We're going to do summation, subtotals. I'll show you how to do percentages, those sorts of things. Pretty straightforward ideas, but sometimes you need someone just to show you how to do that. So hopefully a one-stop shop on this little video just to show you how to do those things. Okay, let's crack on over to a close-up of my computer screen. Okay, so we've got an example Excel spreadsheet here. Most of the principles I'm showing you today will apply whether you're in Excel or another product such as OpenOffice, or whether you're in a Windows environment or Mac or Linux, what have you. Really just trying to show you the principles of how spreadsheet applications work. Just a couple of terminology points just to let you know about. Each of these individual boxes that you can see on the screen here that I'm highlighting, that's called a cell. So this number 2 here is in a cell. It's actually in cell B5. So you can see the columns are labelled A, B, C, letters of the alphabet. The rows are numbered, and you can tell which cell you're in by the combination of those two, and you can actually see it appears here in the name box. Okay, one of the basic functions you may well want to do when it comes to budgeting is to add and remove lines to your spreadsheet. So let's say that actually between rows 6 and 7 here, between lines 3 and 4, we want to add in an additional line. So in that case, what I'd do is I would highlight line 4 by just clicking on the row 7 here. And there are two ways of, well, probably multiple ways of doing it, but certainly let me just show you the two main ways. You can then click on the right mouse button, come down on this little menu and click on insert, and that will then create the line for you above where you're currently highlighted. Or if I just undo that for a second, the other way of doing it is if you come up here and you look on the quick buttons that you've got, smart buttons that you've got, you see that you've got an insert button there. You click on that, and again it will insert that line for you. So let's say we want to make this line 6, and we've got an additional number in there, and we've now got our new line in. Let's say that instead we actually want to remove line 3 from our spreadsheet. Again, the same process. Highlight the line. Do your right click. Come on down and click on the delete button, and that will be removed for you. Alternatively, come on over here to the smart buttons. Click on the delete, and that item will go. Okay, let's say that you want to add some numbers together. So such as item 6 and item 7 here, you actually want to do you actually want to add those two numbers together. There are a couple of ways of doing it. When you've got just two individual numbers that you want to add, probably the easiest way is let's say we want to see the results in the cell underneath them. So cell B13, we'd highlight that cell, we type in equals, and then we would click on the first cell that we want to add, and then we would put the plus sign in, and then we click on the second cell we want to add, and we would hit return, and we've got the sum of those two figures. That's one way of doing calculations. And again, let's say we want to do a subtraction instead. We could just change that formula. We'd type in equals here. We'd take the first item, we'd put a minus symbol in, and then the second item, and hit return, and we get a subtraction. An alternative is to do a subtotal, and to actually use a formula. So if we look down here at the expenses, these 4 items here in expenses, we can actually do a subtotal of those 4. And that's using a formula. So if we just highlight the field that we want to do, we come over to the top here and we look at this, this summation sign actually is what it means. You click on that and it will actually put in the sum formula for you, and it will show you the cells that it's going to do. So in this case it's going to sum the numbers between B15, so here, and B18, so that's its range. So we're happy with that. Hit return, and very quickly it's added those 4 fields up for us, those 4 cells up for us. Okay, the one last thing I just want to show you very quickly on this demo of the key sort of skills you need for budgeting is to potentially look at a percentage. It's another form of doing a formula, but it can be very useful when you're doing budgeting exercises. So let's say in this example that we have our total or our subtotal of expenses here of 950, and in this column we've got our income of 1,000. Let's say we just want to work out what the expenses are as a percentage. So if we're going to do that calculation over in this cell here, we highlight the cell, we enter the equals button to show that we're doing a calculation. We highlight the first field that we want. We divide by the second field that we want to divide by, so a denominator and a numerator. Hit on equals, and we've got 0.95. You can then either times that by 100 if you want to give you the percentage, or alternatively come up to this this little button, this smart button up here, click on that and it will show you that's 95%. If any of these numbers change, so let's just reduce this expense by 100. The beauty of a spreadsheet application is that the calculations that you've previously done will also change. So you'll see that as I change each of these numbers, reduce our expenses, we're seeing that not only is the subtotal changing for us, but also the percentages that we've previously done. And this is where, certainly from a budgeting perspective, you can save a lot of time as you're trying to balance your budget. Now I've just shown you a couple of the general functionality that you need to be able to use a spreadsheet for budgeting. Usually it's probably better to actually use a template rather than creating something from afresh and then altering that to meet your individual needs. You'll see that on the website smartfinanceguy.com we've got a couple of example templates that you can use there, some very basic ones and then a couple of more advanced ones for you. And then using the skills that you've learned today, you'll be able to make adjustments to that as you need to. So for example, here within the transportation area, you might want to add in an additional line here for car costs, and actually have a specific one for I don't know, for bus fares or something like that. And you can add in an additional line that you have, and then in your budget field you can obviously add in your individual amount for that particular month, for that part of the budgeting. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful there in terms of giving you some ideas and the basic knowledge as to how to do those things of adding and removing lines, adding, subtraction, doing subtotals, working out percentages, etc. Really just wanted to give you that so that you have that idea that when you're using Excel or another spreadsheet that you can you know how to manipulate and how to make changes to the spreadsheet itself. I really recommend trying to use a template if you can to start with, rather than you having to set everything up to start with, and then you can change it with your categories and the areas that you need to focus on for your budgeting. If you check out the website smartfinanceguy.com, we've got a couple of examples of templates there. There are lots of other really good ones on the internet. If you just do a search for budget planner, and then the name of your spreadsheet software, I'm sure you'll come up with lots of options. And again, now that you've got some of those basics in terms of manipulating the calculations, you can make that spreadsheet do what you want for you. So look, I hope that was really helpful and pointing you in the right direction. And yeah, thanks for taking the time today. Please give me any feedback that you have, appreciate it, and hopefully see you again soon. Thanks a lot, take care, bye.